everyone, I'm Beth McAndrews from Dread Central, and I am here today with the incredible cast and crew behind Shudder's new film, The Twin. I am joined today by director and writer Taneli Mustonen.
Hi guys.
Co-writer Aleksi Hyvärinen. I tried it. She messed it up, but it's okay.
Perfect.
Cinematographer Daniel Lindholm.
Hello guys.
And one of the stars, Steven Cree.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. So excited you're here. How are you feeling now? The Twin is going to be out in the world. How does it feel? Especially Taneli, this is your first English feature, correct?
Yes, it's my sixth feature, but it's my first English language film. Every time I'm freaked out, and tonight we're gonna have a LA premiere, so we're gonna see a lot of our friends and colleagues. So super excited. We just arrived last night, and we're pretty much killed by jet lag, but we're hanging on. We're trying our best.
We appreciate you being here.
Till we tux it up. Yeah.
So I would love to hear from Taneli and Aleksi first how the idea for The Twin came about, how it was born, if you will.
Oh, that's the craziest story. Like,
oh my God.
we did our previous horror film, like Bodom, and what happened with that was that we got to this wonderful film festival in South Korea, in Seoul, and they asked us, like, guys, do you have a concept and idea for your next horror film, and to pitch in our film market that we have here? And we were like, another horror idea? We get to do another one? So of course, as a films we didn't have anything planned, so we just like going on the way on this wonderful city and this festival, and then we see the film market, and it's huge, it's massive. And they say it's like one of the biggest Asian genre film markets there is. Like 10 sentences and a really crappy idea, I guess. And then we just started pitching it like through every day for 20 different investors and whatnot, and it sort of grew out from there, because when people told us like, hey, is it gonna be like this? If it was a good idea, we go like, yes, exactly.
Making a note.
and the true story, in the end, we won the whole thing. As a best project, so then we were really screwed. Then we had to write it.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those be careful what you wish for ideas. We got money for development of the movie, so we basically spent a couple of years writing the script. It was a difficult one, but it was really an exciting ride as well.
Luckily, he's my best friend. We run the company together, and we've been writing all the stuff. He actually wrote my first feature film, so we basically
he rewrote the script. So I don't really know. I was a bit bummed about that. So, yeah.
But it was wonderful ride once again. And here we are.
We've been working together for a long time, and also with our wonderful DP Daniel. We basically met in film school way back, and have been working on several movies ever since. And The Twin was, of course, a dream come true in many ways.
Oh, really? Why was it a dream come true?
Coming out of Finland, you get to do an English language horror film set in your own country, exploring all the pagan beliefs and the crazy folklore history of our heritage, and then being able to kind of distribute it to pretty much the whole world. It's obviously for us as Finland-based filmmakers, it is pretty awesome, and being able to work with our wonderful cast and crew from Steven was amazing, and Teresa Palmer, of course. We've had a wonderful ride, and it's really exciting to kind of be able to show it to the world now.
Yes, that's awesome. And then Steven, how did you get involved in this project?
So I was doing Discovery of Witches season 3 with Teresa Palmer, and Teresa had basically, to cut a long story short, Teresa suggested me through a series of unfortunate circumstances, but what ended up being fortunate circumstance for me. Teresa suggested me to Taneli and Aleksi for the part of Anthony, and Taneli and Aleksi fortunately went with that suggestion, and I got offered the part, and here we are 16 months later, and I felt very lucky and very grateful to be given the chance, and I had such a fantastic time working with Aleksi and Taneli and Daniel, you know, and I would work with them again in a heartbeat. And like they said there,
thanks so much.
you know, the film already, however, what I kind of, you know, the thing about whenever you do a piece of work, and, you know, I guess art in any sense, you then put it out there, and it's obviously, it's going to get judged or whatever, but there's a sort of like, I'm so proud and so pleased of what everyone achieved over there, and I had such a great experience making it. And like Taneli and Aleksi said, I just think it's already, whatever happens, it's already a success. And, you know, like these two guys from Finland got this film together on an idea that they come up with completely out of the blue. I didn't know that one, actually. You know, and now here it is being distributed worldwide. And, you know, it's really, 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 really hard getting a film made and really hard making films. You know, when you're not in the film industry, people just have no idea. And so much effort and so much work goes into it. And I think you see it just, you know, it's such a beautiful film.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, it's beautiful for so many reasons, but Daniel, your work especially makes this film just like so luscious and gorgeous to look at. So what was it like for you, Daniel, to come in on this project and collaborate with the team and figure out kind of the look and feel you wanted to strike with the twin?
Of course, as the guys already mentioned, and thank you, by the way, for your nice comment. We met with Taneli already in film school, and Aleksi as well. So we have a long history together. So when I heard about the project, I was kind of like, you know, this is a sure thing. But of course, fortunately as well, the script was very interesting. I could see that the cinematography will be very important for the film and for the director and producer as well. I mean, it was from the get-go that we're going to make something really beautiful and cinematic. So yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I'm very proud of it, and I think we made like a really, really long pre-production because there was the pandemic and stuff. So yeah, it was quite complicated way to get there, but we had a lot of time to find great locations and you know, plan according to them and so on, and kind of like find the look and feel for the film. And I think the main thing is that it's very cinematic, it's very stylish, I think, for a horror film. Myself, if I may say so. And we shot it with a very, of course, we had very good team, and we also had very good you know, camera and lighting setups, very complicated. And always, you know, this is still kind of an indie movie, so time is always hard, but I'm very proud of us all that we could make it look the way it did, because we had like a very little time, but still, you know, a lot of love and passion. So that's, I think, the main thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's absolutely gorgeous, especially where you film. So where did you guys film in Finland proper, or were you outside of that? And like, how did you find the locations for the twin?
Who wants to answer?
Well, we shot the film in Estonia.
Estonia, okay.
Estonia. It's the neighboring country of Finland. And what happened was I was working with Aleksi on this other film that we produced, and I wrote, directed, and Aleksi and we had this wonderful discussion, like just walking around this wonderful area of Viljandi. It's basically the world you see in the film, and it's one of those things that happen when you're writing a script. You start to, it's sort of, the process is sort of like starting. So we started discussing with Aleksi, oh my God, this feels like the world of the twin whenever we look. And so we started location scouting pretty early on. And of course, when we found the house through our wonderful location scout, Tuulikki, she found the house, we were blown away. You felt like when you opened the door and you walk in, that you're in the movie of the twin. It's one of those strange little things that happen when you're working on a film. And so of course we knew that in a movie like this, it's vital that the world is a character on its own, and we gave it a lot of love and hard work to, you know, process it through not only just the production design and the camera work, but also the costumes and makeup and all the way to the creating itself. So that was definitely something we really focused on when it comes to sort of visual dynamics.
Yeah, the story is set in Finland, which is kind of a bit of a time that isn't, you know, clear to anyone. It's kind of this own setting. You can still find glimpses of that lost Finland, you know, in the eastern border somewhere. And we were really kind of suddenly realized that this place is totally looks like the world we imagined. And also kind of the, you know, there's still places in Finland where you go and you suddenly realize that, oh my God, you know, we have a super rich heritage of pagan beliefs and folklore, and they kind of pop up every now and then. Sometimes you go into a place in Finland, it's like you suddenly get scared, like, oh my God, it's still here, the evil's still here, it's existing. So that we kind of had shared that feeling in the place as well. So
yeah, in Finland, you can travel in Finland. You can drive like all day through forests, and then you come into this small village, and you feel like children of the corn or whatnot. You just like, and you go there, and you just feel like there's like you find this community, and you feel that there's a hierarchy, and there's like certain set of rules, and you feel total outsider, even as a Finn. And that was something we wanted to capture on this movie.
Cool. So one of my favorite moments in the film is the wedding swing, or the marriage swing moment. Everyone's laughing. I'm so excited because I was like, I hope there's I want everyone, because every single one of you is involved in this, and I want to know from everyone what that experience was like filming that. But Daniel, first, I want to hear from you about how you accomplished that, because there's a lot going on in this moment of capturing the kind of close-ups on people's faces from the swing and cutting back and forth. So how'd you do it?
It's so nice that you mentioned that, because that's actually also one of my favorites, like how we shot it. First of all, I was to tell you, we spent a lot of time on it, and then we had to compromise a bit later on, but I think it was all worth it, because we made it really beautiful. We had a lot to do in that day as well. But it's amazing idea of the guys about the swing, and how Teresa gets on it, and then she starts to, like, you know, feel a bit weird once the swing starts going. And then it's of course very important to, with the camera as well, to get into your character's head. And I really love these kind of shots that you have a lot of movement, and you rig the cameras onto that movement. So basically what you're doing is that you are part of the swing with the actor, and the background is going weird. And you do that from a few different angles with some special camera tricks and how speed of camera and so on, and you can accomplish amazing things. And those shots for me are really nice, actually, and I think they really work very well when Teresa starts to lose it and kind of, you know, maybe I should not spoil. I know how much you can spoil at this time, but anyway, you get into her. She starts to remember things from the past and so on. And I think it's an amazing scene. Also combined, of course, with beautiful wide crane shots and a lot of extras, a lot of like weird shots of them and stuff. So it's quite a carousel, and it works very well, and it's edited and, you know, also very well, I think. And I think the sound design and music and everything is very, very good. And of course the acting, it's great, as throughout the whole movie.
For us it was I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was just for us it was such an important point in the story that it's I don't want to, and spoiler alert to everyone here, but it was sort of like the first time we sort of like opened the door into the rabbit hole that we're going to dive in later on. So that was something we knew that it's going to be massively important for the story to work later on, that we sort of like that's where the gate of hell basically opens for us, and we go into this rabbit hole. So we worked really hard on it, and of course, like I said, it's I love that scene as well. I think it's really original, and I for me it works thematically also in a sense that as we go through pretty much the whole story from Rachel's point of view, that that we want to visually showcase that exact moment when we start to understand that the world around her is sort of like collapsing and distorting, and that's the movement that we were after. And that's it's sort of like a metaphor, even though we usually don't want to use that word, but it's sort of like a symbolism of metaphor that we liked a lot. Yeah.
And maybe to add one thing quickly, actually, we found this beautiful location that the exterior of this town hall where the scene is set, and the art department, they built that swing.
Yes.
So it's amazing, and it's exactly in the right place for everything. So it's a really good. It works with the surrounding very well, and so it was a really nice scene to do.
And Steven, what was it like for you to be on that swing and just?
I mean, listen,
because it looks like my worst nightmare, honestly. Like just as someone who just like, there's no buckles, there's nothing. You're just holding on for dear life.
Nah, it was fun. It was fun. Do you know what I tell you? The thing that I was most scared about in that scene, there's a little bit in that scene just before when my favorite actor in the world, Anders, who plays the town doctor, he gives a speech in Finnish, and then Rachel turns to me and she's like, "What did he say?" And I translate, and then as I turn to the villagers, something's just come on my computer. I turn to the villagers and
it's down, doctor.
I turn to the villagers and I say in Finnish, "Thank you," which is kiitos. And I was so nervous to actually speak any Finnish in the film for fear of Finnish people being like, "Where the fuck is he from?" That you actually can see me in the background just kind of very quietly going, "Kiitos." I thought I'll just be really careful with it, and I won't be. I won't. So that was actually that was scarier than actually being on the swing. Being on the swing was genuinely really good fun, and that's the sort of like, again, for it's so great for an actor. Like, I come from Scotland, I live in London, I come from a completely different culture. Suddenly you get to be involved in this project. Everything's like the art department have made this. Daniel set up the scene. Aleksi and Taneli have written it. And then as the actor, you get to go in and just have fun and play. And literally I was on a swing, like a 41-year-old man on a swing. And it's also, it's such a fucking weird, creepy, crazy scene as well. You've got me on the swing being like, laughing my head off and it's so like Daniel said, all the elements I think come together brilliantly. I mean, Daniel touched on it there as well, we haven't spoken about, but again, for me, I absolutely love the score in the film.
Yes.
I think the music is another fantastic character, and that wedding swing, the wedding swing, everything about that is just kind of quite an iconic moment, I think.
Oh, 100%. And
also it has to be said as well, we haven't, like Teresa was, I don't know how many months pregnant, 4 months pregnant.
I was talking to her earlier about that, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I was pregnant the whole time," and I was like, "What?"
When you look at what she did in the movie and the physicality and what she went through in the performance, you can only, doing that not pregnant would have been hard enough, but being pregnant, and also, as you guys will all confirm, it gets fucking cold over there.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, but she was amazing, and I think it was a fun and weird experience in the sense that we were actually shooting in the middle of lockdown, and literally everything was closed down, and we had a permission to shoot, but I think it was this little bubble that all of us went to, and kind of the whole crew and cast together. We dove into this rabbit hole, just like Teresa's character in the movie, and it really kind of gave a new boost to the kind of filmmaking as well, I think. And
I think it shows in so many cases. Like, we were sort of like just a camp, like really tight camping unit basically, and in the house that we shot the film, pretty much the most of the film takes place in this house. It felt super creepy all the way. Even the builder said that the night guard, for instance, he was so happy every morning when we came there. Like, I don't want to be a million more alone in this place. And so
that house, that location was absolutely amazing. So, and the funny thing is, like, it's such a great horror house and such a great horror location. And somebody, an interviewer was saying to me earlier on, and he's right, the funny thing is, when you rock up to that house, probably if you had any sense about you, you'd take one look and be like, fuck this.
Bye.
and drive away.
I have to say, it's one of the most interesting locations and good locations I've shot in, because it was just amazing because everything inside worked. Of course, art department made beautiful also work there, but it was inside, outside, everything worked. It was the real deal. So there was no studio and stuff. It was, in our control, the whole place, outside and in, and just the angles and everything. It just was lovely to work there. And I think for every scene we could make something special. And I'm very happy about that location as well. It was very nice.
And we got so lucky, I think, a couple of days as well. And this is crazy that, I thought people will think this is faked. Literally over there, Scotland's a little bit like this, but not as extreme as Estonia. It would snow really, really heavily. And as you see in the movie, and it creates a beautiful image and a beautiful vista. Yes. But it would be snowing so heavily, and we had to film a scene that would maybe come straight after it. And then you would go to film that scene and the snow had disappeared. And you'd be like, shit. But this, that's the reality of that time of the year in Finland, I'm sure, as well, or in Estonia. And it kind of, again, there's that beautiful scene around the house when they're running around and they're chasing Elliot, and that snow-covered lake at the back. It's just,
I was going to ask if that was real snow.
Steven, we've told everyone that it's fake snow, that we built it all. You're really
sorry. Sorry about that.
That's also a good point. You mentioned that scene. That's this movie is very well. I mean, we plan and we want to control the image with Taneli. We really want to tell the story through the camera, and for every scene we plan. But what I love about working with Taneli as well is we are always, sometimes we see something and we just, we go and we back each other, and then we just shoot something that is totally improvised, like that scene, because it was a nice time to do it, and it's a great scene. So that's what I love also about this movie, that we crafted it with a lot of love and complicated lighting setups and whatnot, but then also we have these pure moments that are just improvised and very beautiful.
Yeah, it's also fun to be working with these guys as a producer when kind of they come up with something, like, that's a great idea, but they're already running that way and the crew is over there, like, and I guess we're going to shoot that way. Guys, run! You gotta make it. It's a lot of fun, but it can be tough sometimes. But it's we just had our premiere in Finland, and the whole crew was there, and everybody was loving the end result, and that's what really motivates you when you're actually on set. And we had moments on set basically looking at the monitor, and everybody was just kind of somehow getting immersed into the scene, and it was like we pretty much was just lacking popcorn and a soda. It felt like a movie, already on set. So that was really great. And it's always fun you have to be super prepared, when you're shooting, but it's really, really great to be able to grab those moments as well.
They really add so much.
That is the key part of. I think it's the key part of any filmmaking, is that you want to stick to your plan, but you also want to have enough time to actually, if something starts to happen in front of the camera or around the camera, then you really want to have the opportunity to go there. And luckily for us, because we've been working with Aleksi for so long, so he knows my ways, and with Daniel as well. So if there are those moments where we just run with the camera and everybody's like, where the hell are they going? We're gonna shoot some birds, and that sort of stuff, like we've done before. And you just want to. That's the fun part of filmmaking.
Yeah. And we were so fortunate. I mean, our cast was so amazing, and they basically knew the characters better than we did, even though we wrote it, and and they were so adaptive and such great sports. So it was a really, really great experience.
This is also for me. I felt like really like when I was watching the acting through the lens, and I was so it was just so amazing to work with all the cast in this one. It's one of my favorite experiences working with this cast actually as well, because it was just, you felt amazing when you're already filming. You're like, hey, this is a great scene. Of course, it's going to be edited, but it's amazing. Just looking at those guys there, that was very special for me as well.
There's just like so much love about this movie, like between all of you guys, and it shows so much and how beautiful this movie is. So it's really great to talk to you and just hear all the love and what behind it, because you just appreciate that so much more. Because you watch a movie but then you talk to people who made it and you're like, I just love this movie even more now that I know all of this stuff that's behind it. So thank you guys so much for taking time to chat with me today about The Twin. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Taneli. Thank you, Aleksi. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it so much. And everyone, The Twin is streaming on Shudder. Please check it out.